From Astoria to the Rockaways, it's time for the Queen's New Yorker. And here is the man giving you all the info, your uber snazzy and jazzy host, Mr. Jason D'Arcanio.
Yes, thank you. Oh, what a crew. Thank you very much. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. There they are. The people who pretty much make it what it is today. What a group. Thank you. Wow. You are too much. You are great. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Sit down and enjoy yourselves here. It's another edition of the Queen's New Yorker right here on YouTube. It's this Saturday, March 7th, 2020. It is episode number 61, and we are ready to go to another great place of interest. And this time we're going to an interesting little area that's kind of tucked away. It's tucked away in Douglaston and Little Neck Bay. Yeah, you wouldn't think about this place ever, because what's it to have? But if you're really inspired by its beauty, its intrigue, and what it has to offer, you're going to like this program. And it's in two parts as well. So today we're going to be doing part one, and tomorrow or Tuesday we'll be doing part two of this place called Udall's Cove. That's Udalls, Udall's Cove. It's a very interesting little place. It's Martian wetland. Ooh, and that kind of takes it into some unfamiliar territories. But this has a wonderful, wonderful story to it from the Wikipedia. And we're going to break it down into two parts so that way you can enjoy all that it has. And we've got some beautiful pictures to show you for this first part for episode 61. But we've got to do something before we even get into that. And you know what that is? We have to look at our statistics, the things that make the lifeblood of this channel go continuously. And right now, you guys are really showing true colors so much. Oh, right now, 409 subs. Okay, we're a little down in the sub department. It's okay. I'm going to go back in there and go into some sub swapping and maybe find some more friends, and that would be great. Okay. Thursday's episode on March 5th, talking about the Huppenhausen Institute, got 25 views, 9 comments, 3 likes, and a dislike. You know, and then, of course, my thank you video of 2,500 views, 28 views, 6 comments, 8 likes, and 3 dislikes. Seems like when I put my face on the camera, the trolls really do come out, you know. But, hey, I promised to my group here on the Queen's New Yorker that every 500 views, I would come out and thank you and talk a little bit about what's going on with the future of this channel. And it just keeps getting better. But you all seem to like Alley Pond Park. That was so far one of the best. 43, a 16, a 7, and a 0. So you all like Alley Pond Park. That's great. Well, we're going to talk, like I said, we're talking a lot about historic places, parks and recreation, anything to do with naturistical things right now before we get to the really good stuff, which is bridges, roads, tunnels, all that fun stuff coming up later on the program. So, you know, we're kind of building up the plots here. So, you know, if you, like I said, if you want me to jump ahead, please let me know in the comments, and we'll cover pretty much about anything or everything you want us to cover. We'll do it, okay? When I do get some time, I would like to make a big tribute to a school that's going to be closing. It's my alma mater. It's an elementary school, and it's been around 120 years. and we're going to have a week-long tribute to that school coming in June, because they'll be closing their doors forever, for good, in June. After this school year is done, this is the last school year for them. St. Marigita Heaven School, not the parish, but the school is closing its doors forever, and we want to touch some articles, show you pictures, slideshow presentations. We want to have a week long of that, and we're going to make it happen. I got to get some friends to do that, to help me with, but we're going to tribute 120 years celebration right here on the Queens New Yorker, because Ozone Park, the demographics changed so much and enforced, what's the word I'm looking for? The days of trying to get students into the school enrollment was so low that debt kept rising. They couldn't pay their bills, and unfortunately, this year they're going to have to shut their doors because of that. And the demographics have a lot to do with it. So, yeah, demographics of who's still living there in the particular neighborhoods can pretty much kill your chances of getting kids to go to your school. And tuition keeps rising, and more students are going to public school instead of private or Catholic school. And it's unfortunate that the days of the private institutions are going bye-bye, unfortunately. But we'll have more information for you on that as I talk to some former alumni people and get some information on that. And we'll as we get closer to June, I'll give you more information. Okay. All right. It's now time to so let's give a round of applause for what we've been able to accomplish so far. Yes, because I think we all deserve it, and yes. Yeah, thank you. Yep. All right. Very good. Okay. All right. Come on now. Come on. All right. All right. So let's get back to reality here, and let's cover our 2-part series on Udall's Cove, or Udall's Cove as they call it. Part 1 starts off with it's a marsh and wetland area located in the borough off Little Neck Bay between Douglaston and Little Neck. It's one of the few remaining salt marshes on the North Shore in the metropolitan area, another being the salt marsh southwest of the cove at Alley Pond Park. For many years, activists and locals have struggled to ensure that these marshlands and wetlands were properly preserved in their natural state by preventing development in the region. These marshlands and wetlands are home to bird and animal life such as muskrats, egrets, and herons, as well as marine life and plants. And one of the key agitators to preserve Udall's Cove and its plant and animal life was Aurora Garris. She was the founder of the Udall's Cove Preservation Committee. The marsh wetlands of Udall's Cove measure up to 100 acres. The cove is a haven for birds and underwater life, as well as a favorite spot for children with an interest in studying them. It contains a 15-acre oblong ravine, which was left behind as a remnant of the Ice Age by a glacier. The ravine measures 200 feet wide between backyards of single-family homes and has freshwater streams in it that feed Udall's Cove. Now, on November 8th, 1960, the Parks and Recreation Land Acquisition Bond Act of 1960 was approved by the electorate. December 15th of that same year was the day in which the board estimate approved the New York City zoning resolution of 1961, and it went into effect the very next day. The Great Neck Estates Village Board paid $400,000 for 53 acres of marshland in Nassau County, bordering Udall's Cove in March of 67. And on October 20th of 69, the Udall's Cove Preservation Committee was established, and its first meeting was held the day after that. On May 12th of 1970, the first meeting of the newly formed Mayor's Committee on the Environment was held in the Blue Room of City Hall. Now, Aurora Garris was a charter member. An ecological evaluation of Udall's Cove was conducted on August 21st of 1970 after the City Commissioner of Parks made a request to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, or the DEC. In November of 1970, an ecological report on Udall's Cove, prepared by Anthony S. Taormina, was sent from the New York State DEC to the City Commissioner of Parks. In June of 71, Habitat 2000 presented a proposal to establish the Terminal Moraine National Area System by linking the city park areas in Queens from Cunningham Park to Udall's Cove with walking, equestrian, cycling paths, and this group, which included John W. Kominski, chairman, and Andrew M. Greller, who was the co-chairman, they sought to establish the position of curator of the terminal moraine in the parks. The Udall's Cove Preservation Committee, Inc. was established to serve a number of purposes related to preservation of the Udall's Cove Park Reserve. Along with Aurora Garris, the two other directors included Ralph Kami and Charles J. Stressler. In the Daily News article entitled "Planners Expected to Approve a Wetland Park," around 50% of these productive marshlands have already been destroyed by man's encroachments or interference into these natural resources. Now, John W. Kominski notes in his letter, Audubon Magazine, the wetlands of Udall's Cove have become an area of abuse and misunderstanding, and must therefore be protected and realized as a primary producer of foodstuffs. The writer of the article, From Here to Eternity, also a part of the Aurora Garris collection at the Queensboro Public Library, has noted how 15 dump trucks stood ready to improve the landscape. The word improve, in this case, was referring to how those in charge sought to dispose of these materials in Udall's Cove. However, this article also stated, between them and the myriad of marine life forms they would doom stood a handful of people. This was a confrontation between those who considered it important to preserve the biotic integrity of a saltwater marsh and those who considered it expendable in favor of a parking lot or a golf course. This temporary halt awoke America to the kind of choice we must make for eternity. Although this did not necessarily put an end to parking lots and golf courses, it was hoped that after a public hearing in 1970, this temporary halt would become permanent. In 1970, Secretary of the Interior Stuart L. Udall, in response to environmental damages and dumping, stated, "All too often this is simply because public conscience hasn't been given the basic ecological understanding so necessary to selection of the right alternative." In the article letter, Notes about Udall's Cove, the writer Ralph Kumi explains how development is a dangerous and destructive element that ignores the benefits of nature. Years ago, Udall's Cove was nearly eliminated by a golf course. Mr. Sheldon Lobel, an attorney from Woodside, represented two developers who wanted to eliminate a ravine, a hazardous eyesore, by building an enclosed mall opposite St. Anastasia Church on Northern Boulevard. Zoning was and is still one such element and factor, and is a line of defense behind which neighborhoods retain their identities, as well as their moral, spiritual, or real estate values. Now, Virginia Dent of Douglaston, however, opposed this plan and stated, "We're very upset, and we feel it's a rape of the community. It's all right for the church to make money, but not at the expense of the environment." And according to the Reverend William T. Smith, who was a pastor of St. Anastasia's Roman Catholic Church, the church bought this property as a site for a high school. However, they decided to sell it without realizing the goal or intent of the developer's project. And Joseph F. Melston, who was Director of Conservation and Environmental Education for the New York City Department of Parks, stated that the construction must be stopped in any area of the ravine, as this development would impair the natural drainage pattern of the area, accelerate erosion, add pollutants to the bay, and drive away wildlife. According to a Daily News article, 50% of these productive marshlands have already been destroyed by man's encroachments, interference into these natural resources. And during the 80s, plans for a sewer to be built through Alley Pond Park, a 4-story motel, and an apartment building on the park's perimeter were either approved or proposed within a few months. Aurora Garris stated in response to how she feared her efforts might have been for naught. Every time we have gone one step forward, we have seemed to have gone 2 steps backward. And we will continue on part 2 with significant plant and animal life and the importance of Woodall's Cove and plans for preservation and conservation. I'm Jason DeCanio, and I hope you had a great time with us for this quick, short, 15-minute show. Remember, friends, be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. And don't settle for being anything less than a nut monkey, but don't be a nut monkey, because there are better things to be in life than that, which is not real. We'll see you the next time right here on the Queens New Yorker, right here on YouTube. I'm Jason DeCanio. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
You have been watching the Queens New Yorker. This is Jason Kelly on a Jason DeCanio internet presentation. Thank you for your support.
Don't forget to subscribe to the David Dyson Network for great more content like this one.